Hello YouTube, this is Dabmar1079 bringing you another World of Warship video, and today we'll be taking a look at the Tier 3 new premium battleship called Knyaz Suvorov, if I pronounced that right. I had to look it up in a video to say it properly as I could say it, for enunciation, or I looked it up also on Google to make sure I'm saying it right. Knyaz Suvorov. I apologize if I'm butchering the first bit, but it also gave me the English translation too, Prince Zavarov, which I don't know since if you take a look at the flag, which I do like this detail on Russian warships in the game, where if it's pre-Soviet Union, it will have Tsarist Russia's naval flag. And so this is a Tsarist Russian battleship. This one they've never built, sadly enough. I think good, they only ever made this class of ship, and they actually gave it the Soviet Union naval flag, which that's not the proper one. The Gennut, Gunnert. I again pronouncing wrong. Sorry. Battleship is the only one that they did. This one is a design, year of design, which actually let's just take a look at it for a tier 3. This is a couple of them out there that give you all these upgrades. I don't know how she performs. I've never used her. I wanted to do this yesterday when this came out to get her for free if you have PlayStation Plus. But I didn't. Kind of forgot. Sorry. Which by the time I'm recording this will come out at a later date. I'll just tell you now, right now it is July 19th. It's Wednesday. This might come out during the weekend. I have so many others, but I did not see this. This is a pretty darn well armored dreadnought era battleship. By the looks of it, it looks like a fantastic ship. And let's just go around here. You can pause it right there, and you can read the little bio of it. Inspired by the Russo Japanese War. And much like the dreadnoughts of the era, they have the little. Well, I don't really see all that much on some designs there where they have the full center line. Some have like this in the middle, one starboard, one port side, and diagonally to where you can have a full broadside of at least, depending on how many barrels it has. 6, and at least you always 9 on the broadside. But let us get it into the battle. Kinda wish someone had made a video of this. Maybe in the future I'll see this. But let's take it into battle. First AI, and then standard. But pretty much like pretty much all these Russian battleships, except not the tier 3 Russian battleships. If I ever get the Nikolai the First, I'll pronounce how to say the name correctly of the class. So I do apologize once again, but yes. Those are the only ever battleships that the Russians ever created in their entire history of existing. Yeah, I guess technically if you go back to the wooden warships, those some maybe would have been called battleships since they didn't. You might had well, brigantines, galleons, sloops, cutters, something like that, I'm pretty sure. But pretty much like all Russian battleships never existed, like I said, except for the first one and one tier 4 that you can buy in this game, which is an upgraded version of the original ones in the Russian Navy that the Soviets took over. I don't think, as far as my knowledge goes, that the Russian Navy really did much in the 19th century, early on 19th century. Well, I know that they had the Russo Japanese War, That was their big, as far as I've been able to find and hear, that was their, well, as far as I know of now, when it comes to iron warships. Wooden warships, no idea. Iron warships, they went against the Japanese, they lost big time. With some famous actual ships there. Battleship, well, at the time, Battleship cruiser in most of the game. Mikasa in that of Aurora, ships that you can actually play in this game and get. These are the only thus far ones I know from the Russo Japanese War in the battle, the Straits of Tsushima. Yeah, my knowledge is not up to date as much on some as others. I need to look on because I like the Japanese Navy. And for me, since I do potentially want to get Soveski Soyuz, since I love the World of Warships Naval Legends video of her, actually, when I saw it, I actually thought it was a real Russian battleship. That's how I was so, like, oh, this looks like a cool ship, and the Russians actually built it. How come I've never seen it? That's why. Fake. Well, animated. But the Russians had some good designs. I've seen plenty of little videos. I don't know how to say the YouTuber's name that I've posted many a time. I will put links in the description down below for videos to detail in some of the knowledge that I may have forgotten by watching his videos. It's like Drax something. I'm not gonna try and butcher it. I'm sorry, but yeah, I've seen that. Which I guess technically you can say yes, some of the Russian battleships technically existed. Some of Soveski Soyuz hulls existed, but then they were destroyed by either the Russians or the Germans. Sadly, since Stalin is the one who wanted them, since he died, they just scrapped the hulls. And I guess technically, you can only say that the Russians ever had a battle cruiser, I guess, class, the Kirov class, battle cruisers, if you want to go by that logic. Technically, that's not battleship, but to each their own. But overall, Knyaz Suvorov, I'm just going to call her Suvorov, is actually performing quite well. I only like play some tier 3 games with these ships because of the little bonus things for the promotion tokens. Why not? Because I like them. But so far, this, like the Bell something, the British warship, what's that other ship called? The tier 3 British one that that you also got back a long time ago. Oh God, it's gonna bug me. Uh, Come on, brain, think, darn it, think. A Agincourt, that's what it is, Agincourt. Much like her, good. Yes, I could give her better commanders to help the reload time from 30. Is 30 not that good? Actually, let's see. The traversing speed would be good for that. Don't need that. Does it have a upgrade for that? Well, targeting, yes, but no. Reload the guns, but traversing speed. Got to play with it more. Which really, I don't think I give much on upgrades, but before scramble on that one. Let's just get into standard battle. So now that I think of it, I'm going to actually look up. Since this is, I guess, named after a prince, I'm going to actually look this up to at least get some, I guess, historical context to this person, if he was a real person. This was one of a Battleship class pre-dreadnought battleship built for the Imperial Russian Navy in the first of the 20th century. Completed after the beginning of the Russo Japanese War in 1904, she became the flagship of Vice Admiral Sidney. I'm not even going to try that. Commander of the 2nd Pacific Squadron. And just because I want to be misleading, the the actual Knyaz Suvorov, which is a pre-dreadnought, not even a dreadnought. This is a line maybe tougher than an armored cruiser. I will put her actual picture there as my is my tag, because I've actually saw this ship, and the ship that she's named after actually, I think, was damaged so much in the Battle of Tsushima. I think even her enemies were surprised. I think the Japanese were even surprised at how much damage she took. She was literally blown apart by so much to frickin' barrage from the enemy ships and everything. I think even Mikasa maybe got a few rounds off into her. I'm not 100% sure. But they pretty much, the Russian navy, the Russian people on that ship, that all those Russian sailors actually fought fought her with every gun they had. Eventually, when they were just down to secondary armaments, when they lost a gun, whichever gun crew survived from where they were, if it was knocked out or blown up by another enemy shell, they would go to another one and keep helping out. I think the commander-in-chief of that affair even stayed aboard his ship as long as he could until he was transported to another one to keep going in his command structure. Not 100% sure. I will put a link in the description below for the video that I saw from the same guy I've put in the past for these videos for you all to see if you actually want to take a look for yourself. I like naval history. It was actually very interesting, especially just to see even some of these pictures that were painted of these ships were just torn to hell, but still fighting. And also they have one commanding officer who didn't care. Pretty much, if you acted up, it would just give him an excuse to beat the snot out of you, I heard. The only ones he couldn't beat the snot out of were the more higher up in the political spectrum of the Navy. He had no sway in it. He just would beat the snot out of any crewmate if he wasn't acting right. And I think the guy said some of the people he really wanted to do was the people that was in command of him that had pull because they were friends in the courts or the whatever Imperial Russia had at the time. I guess their version of Parliament for the British. I guess I can give it something like that. In the heads of state, some royals maybe, something like that. I don't know. But I say this, if they had made this ship, and actually, since I think the original one had sunk, I think it would pay homage perfectly to a ship that actually, like, I think it was a Fletcher class destroyer. I don't know which one it was. I think it was the part of Taffy Free that actually went against a Yamato, a destroyer that fought like a battleship. Basically, the original Knyaz Suvorov fought like a battleship, as those things were just coming into service. It fought like it was meant to. It was a pretty big armored cruiser. It probably was how the guy put it. It probably could have gone toe to toe with some dreadnoughts with, big guns. I think that they had biggest 8 inches. Not 100% sure. And oops, what did they think of it? Probably can't hear it as much, so I apologize for that. Sorry, I just realized that I was listening to something earlier. I actually just now got Spotify to listen to stuff, so I turned the game volume down so I could hear it properly. So I do apologize if you're wondering, like, hey, what's wrong? Don't worry, it's my end. I turned it down. My apologies. Definitely gotta give at least a commanding officer to this. Maybe the Italian or the British one. I gotta see which commanders I have on him. After this is all said and done.
Enemy cruiser sighted.
Let's get all guns aimed. And darn it, he's just out of range.
Aircraft carrier detected.
Gonna shoot anyways. He's right here again. Let's see if we can get this ship before that cruiser does. Oh, it hit the torpedo line and didn't do much.
Enemy destroyer sighted.
Boom. Overall, I'm liking this ship for a tier 3. It's pretty solid. It's slow, but what are you gonna do? That's how they all were back in the day. They were all... I think the original one was like 18.9. Knots of speed. This one beats it, I think, at 20. If I stop turning, and I can actually get a
The enemy is about to win.
way of seeing. But you gotta turn again, which is already above its top speed. The original one's top speed, so that's already a plus for it. shooting at me and I don't know where from. Ah, there he is. A German ship. Exactly what these ships would probably be targeting around the First World War. Either he's hitting solid armor, or he's not doing a... No, he's hitting solid armor, so these little... I think that's a tier 2, isn't it? Yeah, tier 3, dang. Ships can't do much damage to this dreadnought. It's in the right spot, it looks like. Ooh, a citadel. Perfect.
The ship is on fire.
I thought it, I didn't say it. I thought, oh, maybe for a change, we might not die with their ship before the game mode ends. Oh, another citadel. German. Good thing I did. Probably gonna die, so...
Our team depends upon you.
Yep, this battle's ending only one way. Oh, or not, they won. So my ship then sent things to the bottom. That's a rare thing that happens in my videos. Oh, jeez, a lot. Number 2. Not bad. My final thoughts? Yeah, I need the tweaker. Wait a minute. As I'm thinking of it, which ones? They do have the reload thing. Oh yeah, they can't. Some can't at certain tiers. I forgot about that. It's too high. They won't be able to. So even if I have him, doesn't matter. It only works for the higher ships. But overall, I like her. That she can barely be damaged by a cruiser. That's good. I like her gun layout. You actually can get a full broadside with them. It's not as hard. Secondary guns I could work out to get farther reach. I love the details of the Imperial Tsarist Russia's double-headed eagle, or I think that's what it is, insignia on the ship. Let me know what that is exactly. I'd like to know. Which actually, I wonder, since this is a camouflage, let's take a look at that. Oops. Ah, a proper... Yeah, the proper little thing. Let's see. Not as bad, but I do like the black and yellow, so... Let's keep it on for that, but pretty much... This is a long video, so I do apologize. But for now, I want to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell to notify anytime that I post a video or go live. And please leave your comments down below and tell me if you got this ship. If you play on PlayStation, I don't know if it's on Xbox, but if it is, let me know as well as there if you like this ship as well on there. And also, like I said earlier, I'll put a link down in the description below to where you can actually hear the real Knyaz Suvorov story against Japan in the Russo Japanese War, and maybe come back and tell me how you thought, how interesting. But for now, I thank you all for watching. I hope you'll have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. See ya.